good evening, everyone. My name is Vicki Deal Williams. I am the Chief Staff Officer for Multicultural Affairs at ASHA, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Student Leadership for a New Day. There are a couple of things that have happened since March that have changed all of our lives drastically. For me, one of those is that I now have an opportunity, sometimes once a day, sometimes twice a day, to do something that's extremely uplifting for me. The first is sometimes I can catch the Today Show, and Hoda Kotb does a segment called The Morning Boost. That Morning Boost is a pick-me-up. It's some kind of a video that's gone viral or a photo or a story, but something that someone has done that's just uplifting, makes you smile. The second of those things is the end of the national news on NBC. Lester Holt, who's the host of the news segment, does a piece at the end. He tries to always leave you with something positive. So sometimes it's, somebody saving someone from a burning building or somebody who's mentoring a group of young people. But again, it's something that's uplifting. Every year at the ASHA convention, I would have that same sensation when we would hold our Minority Student Leadership Program. Melanie Johnson and I have been partners working on that program for 20 years, and it is extremely disheartening and was extremely disheartening to find out that the ASHA convention this year was going to be canceled, which meant that the Minority Student Leadership Program was going to be canceled. So we put our heads together. We were joined by Andrea Plaskota, another staff member in the Office of Multicultural Affairs, and we decided that we needed that pick-me-up. So this was one of the few years that we knew ahead of time that we had an amazing speaker very early on in the year. We had already lined up Dr. Brandy to work with us for that program. So when the pandemic hit and the ASHA convention was canceled and the Minority Student Leadership Program was canceled, we looked for opportunity in that challenge, and we found it in this session. So we decided that there was a way that we could make this happen, and we have managed, with the help of some great friends, to pull this session together for you this evening. So I am looking forward to hearing Dr. Brandy, and I am not going to delay by letting you listen to me. Instead, what I do want to do, though, is to introduce the sponsor of tonight's session, without whose help we would not be here. So we are very, very grateful to Advanced Travel Therapy for their help in sponsoring this program for you. So it is my pleasure to introduce you to Alyssa Hunter. Alyssa is a speech language pathologist. She is the University Program Manager at the Colorado Clinical Team for Advanced Travel Therapy. Alyssa?
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for the introduction, Vicki. I'm so humbled to be able to speak to you all for a few minutes tonight. Before we get to the main show with Dr. Brandy, I'm going to just quickly share my screen with you and get started on talking about a few things that are really important to me, as well as my company, Advanced Travel Therapy. And those three things are leadership, self-care, and community care. So to dive right in, first things first, you should all give yourself a huge pat on the back for being here tonight. I mean, half of leadership, honestly, is just showing up showing up fully and knowing that when you're fully present and you take on new opportunities, that the possibilities are endless. Because leadership tends to be a lot like a snowball effect on people's lives. I mean, think about the great leaders in our field. They didn't just wake up one day and decide they're going to make a huge impact on people's lives. Great leaders start young and with small opportunities in their local communities and build their way from there. So it's so important that you really value opportunities that come to you right now, whether it be volunteering, serving on a local executive board at your university's campus, taking on a summer internship. All of these things are so important because they're going to help you continue to build once you actually start your clinical career. Some of the ways that advanced travel therapy brings on clinicians as leaders is we have them be mentors to younger clinicians, supervisors, panelists at events, content creators. We really believe in developing clinicians, not just for their clinical skills, but also for their leadership skills. The second thing I want to touch on is clinician self-care. With everything going on in the world, this should be in the foremost part of your mind every single day. Now, I will be the absolute first one to admit that when I was in your shoes, I definitely had no self-care routine and in fact didn't even know how to take care of myself. And so I've kind of made it my life's mission to encourage undergraduate and graduate students to instill self-care routines into what they're doing. So if no one has told you today, this week, this month, that you deserve to take care of yourself, I am here to send you that message. There's really three big truths when it comes to self-care. So first thing is that it works best when it's enforced from the top down. So that means your employers, professors, mentors should all be encouraging you to take care of yourselves in meaningful ways and modeling that for you. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is not an everyday widespread practice yet, but once you join the field and you're looking for an employer, try to find one that weaves that into their company culture. Another truth is self-care is not selfish. I guarantee it. Every time you take care of yourself, you're also taking care of your clients, because when we engage in self-care, we can show up more fully every single day at work. And so keep that in mind when you're picking and choosing how you spend your time. And the third truth is that self-care is going to look different for everyone, and even going to look different for you as you evolve through schooling and your career. So keep investing in yourself and make sure that you also have a community around you that is planning to invest in you as well. Which brings me to my third and final point, clinician community care. Sometimes being a clinician can feel a little, isolating, especially if you're the only clinician in a facility or a school. And so it's really important to have a clinical community there to support you. It's a little bit like self-care because it works best when it comes from the top down, and it's also going to look different for everyone. But it's just really important that when you're navigating throughout your time as a student, that you're starting to build these community skills. So here are some of the things we do at Advanced and some things that you can look out for community care opportunities in the clinical world. So we have mentorship where we set people up with one-on-one mentors. We do resource sharing hubs. We have peer cohort meetups, socialization opportunities. All of these things are meant to make you feel like you have a whole cheerleading stand there for you, cheering you on as you move through and navigate new experiences. And so those are just a few things to kind of look out for your future. Now, I know I only had a few minutes to talk, and there's a lot of important things to cover tonight. So if you want to continue the conversation on any of these things, please don't hesitate to keep in touch. My email is alyssa.hunter@GoWithAdvanced. Really reach out anytime. But I think it's time that I hand the torch over to Melanie so that she can introduce Dr. Brandy. Dr. Brandy, I am so excited to learn from you, and thanks so much for having me tonight.
Before we go to Melanie, I do have a couple of housekeeping things I want to make sure I touch base on. First, feel free to put your comments in the chat. One thing about the chat in this format of Zoom, The default is to send a chat to all panelists. If you want to send a chat or you want to post your chat to everyone, you have to change that. When you go into the chat, just hit the little caret on the right and you can change it to all panelists and attendees. The second is if you have a question that you'd like Dr. Brandy to answer, make sure you put that in the Q&A box. We'll be monitoring that box and we'll feed Dr. Brandy those questions as we're able so she can get you the answer to your questions. So with that, I will turn it over to Melanie to introduce our wonderful speaker.
Thank you, Vicki and Alyssa. Good evening. I'm Melanie Johnson, Associate Director in Membership at ASHA, and I have the honor of introducing our featured speaker. Dr. Brandy M. Baldwin is a psychology and business professor turned entrepreneur who is a thought leader and author tackling the world's most relevant business challenges, diversity and inclusion, motivating millennials to level up their leadership, and advocating for equity in all levels of business. As the CEO of Millennial Ventures Holdings and a respected Wharton lecturer, Dr. Brandy is the host of the Diversity and Confusion podcast. She is the founding visionary for Calling All Allies, CAA, an innovative initiative that empowers organizations to address racial inequality by making necessary positive change in the areas where culture and climate intersect with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Dr. Brandy is a published author and speaks at over 40 conferences and companies annually. Please welcome Dr. Brandy. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. Every time I hear that, I'm like, oh, sounds like my mom wrote that. She put everything in there. So this is what I want to do. I'm so hyped, you guys. I'm excited to be here. And I want you all to put in the chat and make sure that we can see it, make sure that all attendees can see it, but how are you feeling? It's been a rough year. It's been a challenging year, but just drop in the chat, 1 word, 2 words. How are you feeling? It is almost November. It's almost the end of the year. And I think that, it will help us to kind of see, what's going on. Okay, good. So I'm going to be reading these off. I love it. I see stressed, overwhelmed, hopeful, surviving, hanging in there, tired, busy, feeling hopeful, determined, anxious, motivated. Yes, I love this. Someone said first semester done. Love it. Burnt out. And then we have energetic. Okay. Stagnant, excited, overwhelmed. Somebody said, is that you, Nathan? What day is it? He said, well, you know where we are? We're at Jumanji level 8, guys. So just hold on. Y'all saw the movie. So we're just hoping we don't get to the next level. Misunderstood, exhausted. I love it. Somebody said struggling. That's Michelle. Struggling, growing, confused. I love it. I mean, the thing about it is good, bad, or ugly. Oh, this is what Julia said, ready to finish the first semester, okay, of grad school. That's what I was trying to find earlier because the chat was going so fast. Someone said overworked, drained, nervous, but grateful that I'm here. Who said that? All right, Layla, I don't know. We'll see until the end of this how grateful you are. No, just joking. Exhausted, keep going, love it. Someone said unmotivated. Someone else said motivated. Someone said ready for 2021. Camille, I'm with you on that. When you think about it, I love this one, excited and empowered. Is that Danny? I love it. Here's the thing, good, bad, or ugly. And shout out to you, Kate, for being in grad school. She said, lucky to be in grad school right now. The thing about it is, as you are learning, as you are getting ready, this is student leadership for a new day. The new day is here. It is upon us. And so you have to understand that even though you may feel stressed, even though you may feel overwhelmed, even though you may feel, someone said overworked, even though you may not feel hopeful, just on that side, right? And we have those ebbs and flows where we're feeling that way, even though you may feel burnt out, tired. It is a new day. It's a new day. And even for those of us that today and right in this moment, you're feeling hopeful and excited and energized and all of that stuff. Well, in a couple of days ago or in a couple of days, it may go down, and that's okay. The idea is for you to understand that it's a new day. Everybody say new day. I wish I could hear you guys. You know what I'm saying? Church, that's what everybody say new day. It's a new day. And when I wake up every single day, yes, I'm grateful. Yes, I'm thankful that I have a new day. Yes, I see it in the chat. There we go. I see it in the chat. All right, church. Okay. I see it in the chat. But I recognize that we have a new day. I recognize that we have new opportunities. But the truth of the matter is, every single day that I wake up, this is how my mindset works. Every single day that I wake up, yes, I'm grateful. Yes, I'm excited. Yes, I have another opportunity to take a stab at it. I'm still here. But I also have one less day that I'm going to be on earth. Every single day that you wake up is actually one less day. And I don't say that to be morbid. I don't say that to be a downer. You guys are like, oh, sounding good until she said that. I didn't think she was going to say that. But essentially, time is of the essence. Every day you wake up is a new opportunity to take advantage of that one less day that you're going to be here. And so when you think about student leadership for a new day, I want you all to just be in the mind frame of new. Throw out the old, it's stale. 2020 did not live up to our expectations. We thought it was going to be 2020 vision right now, and we're like this, struggling. Okay, it was supposed to be clear vision this year. And I don't want you to get discouraged, but it is a new day. And so the first bit of homework now, they said I'm a former Wharton professor, and I've taught at a variety of different colleges and universities. And let me tell you something, I'm gonna give y'all some homework. Just so you know, you will be getting homework. And the first bit of homework is every single day when you wake up, don't reach for your phone, don't scan on Instagram, don't go and see your text messages that you missed. You need to start off with new day. It's a new day. Dr. Brandon reminded me, it's a new day. Because some of you are waking up depressed. Some of you are waking up not feeling your best. Some of you are not actually looking forward to that new opportunity. You're not taking advantage of that. And so every day you wake up, in 2 words, new day. It's a new day. It's a new opportunity for you to take advantage of the moments that you have right now. Because there are some people, they didn't make it to October 27th. And that's just real talk. They did not make it to October 27. And so let's be grateful. Let's be thankful. And every one of you could have been doing something else right now. But I think it is just a perfect storm, right? A perfect, whatever it was that you saw this invitation, you took advantage of. Because quite frankly, there are some people that are registered and they're not here today. And so this is an opportunity for you to get clarity on how you can level up your leadership so that you can be prepared to go into 2021. And so this is where I'm going to start. I'm actually going to take it back a notch, because that bio, it makes it seem like I'm just like a special person, but I'm not. Before I was Dr. Brandy, I was just Brand, okay? A fiber. That's all it is. That's what my nickname growing up was, just Brand. That's the best people could do. And I grew up in a single parent household to humble beginnings, which is code word for broke. We was broke, y'all, growing up. We were broke. Okay, let me tell you, when in my household, we had to turn the stove on and the oven on to heat the house. Okay. In my home growing up, let me see, my mom took me to McDonald's. Okay. This is early 80s. Okay. Took me to McDonald's, and because I asked her for that Happy Meal. Okay. And she would give me that Happy Meal. You know what she would do? She would pull over in the parking lot of McDonald's, and we would share that Happy Meal. Okay. It was a sad meal, guys. It was sad, because who shared a Happy Meal? I thought I could get the whole Happy Meal, but no, we had to split those nuggets. Okay. The artificial meat nuggets, but we split it nonetheless, right? I'm just joking here. But what I'm saying is, my mother told me education is the great equalizer. She said, Brandy Michelle, that's my middle name. She said, Brandy Michelle, take your studies seriously. Make sure, because you can have a better future. You can have a better life. My mother was a teen mom. She said, you can have a better life than we're having right now if you take your education seriously. Any of you guys have parents like that? Drop it in the chat if you're like, yep, that was my parent, education, okay? And I'm Jamaican, I'm Caribbean, so my gosh, education is the first and foremost above anything. And they did not play, okay? I was on the honor roll, student government president. I was one of those overachievers. Okay, good. I see you, Ashley, Gina. Okay, we're Zamina, Valerie. Okay, I wasn't the only one. My mom was on me. And she told me that taking my education seriously. Okay, I see someone said their grandmother too. I'm telling you, whoever it is, somebody said the Puerto Ricans, okay? Boricua, we're in the building tonight, okay? Don't get me started. But here's the thing. I internalized that because it's going to be a plot twist in a second. It's going to be a plot twist. I internalized that. And I took my studies seriously. I strived to be on the honor roll. I got all A's. I was running track in orchestra, student body president, graduated top 1% of my class in high school, moved on to go to college. I did all of that. I got 3 degrees. I got a bachelor's. I got my master's. I got a doctorate before the age of 30, right? And so before y'all give me the snaps, it's a plot twist. Because I did all of that, graduated with a doctorate before the age of 30, and I still felt empty. And I still didn't feel like I was enough. And I still didn't feel like I lived up to what the world, oh my gosh, you have a PhD, and all these compliments that other people were giving me. But the truth of the matter is, I was struggling from a disorder that I've coined called perfection. Okay. And a lot of women, we struggle with this sometimes, but we all do, men, women, whatever. But perfection, not perfection. I know how to speak properly. It's perfection. That means that I'm faking it. Everything is looking like it's perfect on the outside, but I'm faking it on the inside. It doesn't matter how many degrees I have and how many grades, good grades or anything. I still didn't quite feel like I measured up. Anybody resonate with that? And so I went back to my mom and I said, Mom, you lied to me because you told me education was a great equalizer. You told me that, if I just focused on my studies and that's the thing. Now, I didn't really say, Mom, you lied to me because she's Afro-American. She would have popped me in the mouth. But just for dramatic effect, let's pretend like I went back to her and said that, okay? And she pretty much told me, you have to be on your own journey now. You have to figure that out. I did my best with what I had, and that's what I thought. I see what you said, Isaiah. Absolutely, Azella. And so I had to go on a journey and say, I did everything the world says I'm supposed to do. I achieved. I tried all of that. And something still isn't adding up. And the truth of the matter is, when I reflected on it, one thing that I realized was that education was not necessarily the great equalizer. Because don't we all know very educated people that don't act educated at all, that aren't as, some of you can run circles around your managers or people who you've encountered who are older than you or more educated than you. But leadership is the great equalizer. That's what I learned, was that I was not leading my life. I wasn't leading my career. I was being dragged around, tossed around here and there, trying to achieve, stressing myself out. I used to be sick every year around the end of the year, December. I mean, sick. Why? Because I didn't honor myself. I didn't honor who I was. I would sit all day and work myself to the bone and be available for everybody else. But when it's time for someone to be available for me, nobody was there. That was my fault because I wanted to be the resource for everybody. You guys following me? Because I feel like I'm speaking to some of you. This overachieving that we do, we want to be on point, and that's great, but we need to balance that out with true leadership. And don't let anybody tell you that you're too young to be a leader. The truth of the matter is, leadership is about your character, not about your title. Because yet again, we know people who have the title of a leader and they don't have that character at all. Somebody said, don't burn yourself out to keep others warm. I love it. I love it. And so what I want you all to do as we get into my strategies, we're going over 3 simple major areas that you all need to focus on. You need to be thinking of this through the lens of a leader. So now cue the first poll. Cue the first poll. My question to you all, and whether you take the poll, you can drop it in the chat, that's fine. If we have our moderator to cue the poll up, either way, we're going to work it out. Are you a leader? Yes or no? Take a moment to respond. Are you a leader? Yes or no? Because that is the question of the hour. Let me see, can I participate too? Oh, no, it's okay. I can't vote. I wanted to just get my vote in here to skew the results a little bit. Okay, are you a leader? So we're going to get you guys, get your poll in, yes or no, depending on what device you're on. It may be challenging, so don't worry. If you're on it in your mobile device or you can't do it for some reason, you can drop yours in the chat. But are you a leader? That's the first thing. And while you all are finishing that up, I'm actually going to share my screen here and we're going to get it in. We've already started. The train has left the station. And when we get the poll results, let me know. Because I'm sharing my screen now. All right, so let's wrap the poll up and see what our polling results look. All right, now on that 84%, I see you. So real quick, let me close your ears, okay? The 239 that said yes, this isn't for you. But for the 47 that said no, you are a leader. Leadership is a mindset. And you may say, no, Dr. Brady, I promise you, I'm trash. I'm not a leader. You're not. You are a leader. Leadership is not about a title that you have. It's not about someone endorsing you as a leader. Nobody needs to give you permission to lead. If you are able to lead your life day in and day out, you are a leader. So we're going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt on that one. But the answer to everyone is yes. Now, it's about you thinking of yourself as a leader. That's what the problem is. Because many of you have leadership potential, but because others maybe have not endorsed you as a leader, or because you don't have a title or whatever, you're selling yourself short. But I'm going to tell you right now, in order to be successful in the climate that we're in, 2020 to 2030, it's going to be as if we jumped in 10 years, 30 years. The advancements that we're going to see, but also the upheaval, but also when you think about major consulting firms like PwC and McKinsey, they're calling for almost 400 million people globally to be out of work, to be displaced by 2030. You guys need a competitive advantage. And if you don't understand if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, your competitive advantage is leadership, period. I looked at this research, I looked at this data about people who are going to be displaced, professionals who are not going to be able to find a job at all. And I scanned through this 40-page report the PwC put out. And then I said, there has to be a silver lining in here. They're calling for, by 2030, only 9% of the American professional population is going to be full-time employed. Only 9%. That means 91% of us are going to be doing something, I don't know. Maybe we'll just be on another Zoom crying in 10 years by 2030. But I looked in that report up and down, page by page, 40 pages. And the one thing that can't be automated, the one thing that technology cannot replace is leadership. That's what the article said. Company leaders are looking for leadership. And so at the end of the day, right now, even if you were on the fence and you thought, no, I'm not a leader for many reasons or whatever your reasons were, I'm telling you right now, you are. Make a decision in your mind that you're going to start showing up as a leader, because it may very well be the thing that keeps you employed in 10 years. It may be the thing that helps you beat out another candidate in an interview process. We cannot get comfortable and don't let anyone tell you that leadership is for later on in your life or your career. You can start now. And the truth of the matter is, you're a leader before you get the opportunity. People see you first as a leader, and then they allow you to formally lead and have that formal power. And so think about that as we go through today. So the ultimate question is, who are you? You all need to get very clear right now of who you are. Let me know if we have some tech issues. If you're seeing a blank screen, just shoot me in the chat, in the chat. Okay, you can't see my screen share, guys? Oh, let me see. Can you see my face now? Okay, don't worry. That's fine. We're going to go without it. Good. Some people seen it, some people won't. Okay, so I'm going to be equitable here. My slides, I'm not worried about it. They don't have a whole bunch of content on it anyway. So we're going to just be right here. So moving on, leadership is a great equalizer. You all need to get clear on who you are. So let me ask you this. Drop this in the chat. Do you have a brand? Yes or no? Do you have a brand? Okay, Kate said she could see the slides. Do you have a brand? Let's see. I see no. I see some yeses. Working on it. Okay, I think that might have been Sarah. I think so. Jesse said no. Okay. I see some more coming in. Yes, working on it. Good. Good. I see some that need guidance. Okay, Sierra, I see you. Awesome. Good. We have a brand. Do you have a brand? Okay. I love Sabrina's like, well, let me ask a question. What does that mean? Okay. I'm going to have what? A brand. B-R-A-N-D. Okay. Mona says in progress. So let me ask you guys, because some of you were quick to say yes. Drop in a couple of adjectives or a couple of terms. What is a brand? Give me some examples of kind of what is a brand, and we'll stair step it. I see you guys said you need some guidance and stuff. Love it. Love it. What is your brand? What is your brand? Integrity. Okay, being an advocate, resourceful, authentic, your representation of yourself, defining your characteristics, kindness, confidence, cultural competency. Oh, see, y'all tried to read the promo for tonight and put those in there so you can get the right answer. Rianne said charisma, responsible. Yes, I love this. Things you pride yourself on: resilient, transparency, reliable. Y'all are killing it right now. Dependable, perseverant, your mark. I love that. Who said that? Was that Jayla? Your mark. Let's roll with that one. Let's go with that one, your mark. Now, let me tell you guys, someone said steadfast, patient, personality. Let me tell you what your brand is. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Let that be a gut check. That's really what your current brand is. Yes, you can work on your brand, but it's not your website. It's not your business card. It's those characteristics that you mentioned. But the thing is, everything you put in the chat, would someone else describe that if I asked them to tell me about Nathan, tell me about Astrid, tell me about Emily, tell me about Sarah? Will someone else say it? Your brand is what people are saying about you when you're not in the room. So first and foremost, even though you may be in student mode, you don't have to show up like a typical student. You need to be showing up like a full-blown professional. No one should be able to look at you and your brand and how you interact and how you behave shouldn't scream student. I made sure very early on in my career, and I used to get made fun of for it. My friends were like, oh God, look at her. Oh, look at her trying to be so mismature and miss this. But guess what? I got so many opportunities because people couldn't tell how old I was. They thought, wow, you're very mature. When they found out and was surprised I was 20, when they found out I was 21, 22, they were like, what? I can't believe that that's how old you are. Well, good, because how you act and how you behave and how you choose to show up. Rianne said she had the same problem. How you choose to show up is up to you. It's all about perception. How people see you, how people are perceiving you, and you can control people's perception. And so what I'm going to run through tonight is people's perception of you. What areas do you need to focus on when it comes to your brand? Now, first and foremost, what makes up some of your brand? 3 different skills. And I can't give you too much because there's going to be another session in a couple of days that some other folks are going to be on. I can't give you the goods, but I'll give you this much. 3 areas. Think about it. Your personality traits, your transferable skills, and your technical skills. Your technical skills are what you all do professionally and what you're in school for, what you're training to do. Your personality traits are just who you are. And there's no judgment on being extroverted or being outgoing. That's me. So that's why I'm going to authentically show up that way all the time. But if you're a little bit laid back and introvert, that's fine. It's authentically who you are. And then your transferable skills. So that's going to be your second bit of homework. Look those 3 categories up and write down and figure out your brand. But I'm going to tell you right now that the first step in developing a bulletproof brand is focusing on gaining respect. Gaining respect. So you guys write that down. If you're taking notes, write it down, drop it in the chat. Gain respect. I have a book called Put in Work. Gain respect, influence others, and get results as a new leader. So we're breaking down the first one, gain respect. There are 2 specific ways that you all need to gain respect. Somebody put R-E-S-P. I see you, Carlos. He spelled it out Aretha Franklin style, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, okay? You all need to gain respect from others around you as quick as possible. And I don't just mean your friends and the people that are around you. I'm talking about across the board. How do you do that? The first way is your excellent communication skills. These are some leadership superpowers that I'm breaking down for you. And at the end, we're going to check in and see what your leadership superpowers are. So first of all, it's excellent communication. When you think about the economic data on communication and how valuable it is for people, you can actually earn more money. This is economic data. You can actually earn more money over your lifetime by having persuasive and sharp communication skills. These are facts, guys. I'm not making this up. Your communication skills are a major part of how people perceive you. And so you have to make sure to tighten it up. Now, it's not any type of communication skills. It's culturally competent communication skills. But let me break this down. Even outside of culturally competent communication skills, the first thing you need to think about is how are you able to articulate yourself? That doesn't mean that you have to speak all prim and proper, and but how are you able to persuade others, to get people excited about you, to get people excited about supporting you, to let people know what you need? For some of you, you don't communicate enough. It's not about how properly you can speak, but you don't even let people know how they can help you. And that has nothing to do with your communication, transactionally, your communication. It has to do with how you're not even utilizing and leveraging the communication skills that you can to get what you want and to get ahead. How are people going to be able to help you if they don't know how they can support you and what your needs are? There are some of you that you're so used to supporting everybody else, or you're so used to people not checking in on you, that you're not even using the basic aspect of your communication to let others know what you need to ask for help. I call it a dream team. The thing is, while I'm on here with you and I'm communicating and presenting with you, I need other people to be talking positively about me for my next opportunity. Well, how are they going to know that I need or want a next opportunity? Because I've communicated it with them, because they know I'm looking for speaking engagements, because they know the type of work that I'm doing. Are you guys getting what I'm saying so far? Excellent communication. That's how you gain respect. When you think about it, you need to be able to adapt your communication as well. When you are in different scenarios, different environments, are you able to switch it up, or you just yourself everywhere you go? I have two phones. I have my personal phone. I have my business phone. They look identical. They're a little bit different. And guess what? When my business phone rings, I'm like this. Dr. Brandy speaking. How can I help you? Great. Phenomenal. Yes. Asha, starting at 7. Great. No, we're talking about leadership. This is what I'm talking, because this is business call. Now, when my personal phone rings, I'm like, girl, killed it on the Asha presentation. No. It was the bomb. It was off the hook. Yes. Students were amazing, right? I switch it up. Here's why, because I want to control the perception that people have of me, especially if you're not close to me, especially if you're not in my direct, network or whatever. And especially if you may have a bias towards me, especially if you may make assumptions about me, I'm leveraging that. It's not acting different. You're not able to be yourself. That is a part of who I am. The professional, Dr. Brandy, when I'm in Dr. Brandy mode, that's a different type of person. But when I'm just Brand, and I can kind of take my superhero cape off and take my, my glasses off and my makeup off, and I'm just Brand, I can show up in that way, right? Caitlin said the customer service voice, okay? It's the customer service voice. So for you all, how do you need to adapt your communication? How do you, and maybe, oh God, it's so uncomfortable. Some of you don't even communicate. You might as well be furniture, okay? I'm just saying, I can say that. I'm saying it out of love. Some of you don't even speak up enough. You sit back and you let everyone else get the floor, and you're just like double dutch. That's what I used to play growing up. I'm not sure if this is even a relevant game anymore. And you're trying to get in the conversation, but you never allow yourself to get in because you're worried about how people are going to perceive you. You feel like you don't have anything important to say or impactful to say. But guess what? You are going to have to speak up. You have to let people know that you're there and let them know your value. It's not always about making, right? Adriana said, I'm calling her out. I'm calling everybody. Look, if this is my rule, if the shoe fits, okay, that's you, but it's in love. We need coaching. Iron sharpens iron. And the thing is, you need people in your life that know you enough, care about you enough, love you enough, whatever you want to say, to hold you accountable and to not call you out, but call you up. That's what I'm trying to do today, is call you higher and say, is it worth your comfortability to not speak up? You're just so focused on your comfort that you may miss out an opportunity to be promoted to another level within your organization because you want to be comfortable. Oh, okay. Let's see how that's going to work for you at 2030 when 9% of Americans have full-time employment, supposedly. Let's see how that's going to work. The discomfort of that, let your 30-something self, let your 40-year-old self, whatever, however old you are, I made the numbers higher because closer to my range, but let the person who you're going to be 5 years from now thank you for showing up today in the way that you should have shown up to give them an opportunity. Because the person that's going to be mad is going to be you. Your future self is going to be mad at your current self for not going outside of your comfort zone. Y'all following what I'm saying?
Dr. Brandy,
yeah.
I want to interrupt you just for a second. We had a question that popped up. How can you be a leader if you're shy or introverted?
Oh, I love this. Oh, Vicki, come on and chime in, because I'm just like, right, like this. So I'm so glad you brought that up. So when you think about leadership, it's about us redefining what we think a leader is. Because I know some strong, powerful leaders that are shy or that are introverted. But here's the thing: if you need to step up, can you? If you need to communicate, can you? Now, if you're paralyzed to the point that in those times when you need to get out of that shy mode, right, then that's a different issue. But in the times when you need to step up, are you able to do that? And first, the better question is, are you willing to? Because once you are willing to do that, then your ability to do it comes easy. It's just about you practicing. That's just like somebody saying, like me, Doctor, I speak so much. I talk a lot. But guess what? I have to exercise restraint in some rooms. And I have to say, this is not the time for you to be talking right now. You need to actually listen. I have to be cognizant and aware not to always be ready to chime in, because that's what I do for a living. And so the same way the shy person needs to be able to build the muscle of stepping up and speaking up and leading when they need to, so does even the person that maybe talks a lot needs to exercise restraint and be quiet. So let's redefine what a leader is. A leader is about being someone who can make the tough decisions. That doesn't matter if you're not liked, because you're not there to only serve others. You're there in the service of others' best interests. That's a difference. So when you're trying to just serve everyone else, it can look very differently. But if you're trying to serve the best interests of others, then you're willing to step up, even if you know it's going to maybe upset some people, or they may not like your decision, or whatever. And so when you're focused not on you as a leader, but on the people who you are working in service of, then it should help you push through some of that shyness and that sort of thing. Vicki, what else? I think, do we have some more questions in there? Because I'd love to
We
answer a
do.
few. Okay.
We do. There's a related question about how you manage just that, what you were just talking about, how you manage the professional you when the professional you is so different from the actual you that it starts to feel not authentic.
Yes, I love that one. So here's the thing. When you feel like the professional you and the actual you, like it's like two different, personalities or whatever, then you do need to make sure that you sort of, that may be a sign that the professional you is what you think you need to show up as. And it's not really, authentic. So here's the thing. I am, for example, and all of you should be your best selves in just a professional setting with a few adjustments. It shouldn't be, a total personality switch, right? But it really should be the essence of who you are. So for example, I feel like I got jokes, like I feel like I'm a little bit funny a little bit, but my friends and my professional colleagues or people that have seen me speak will say she does have a little bit of sense of humor. When you think about my energy, I still have the same amount of energy casually than I will in a professional setting. So I'm a direct communicator. Either way you cut it, I'm going to give it to you direct, right? So what I would say is, for those of you that are feeling like, oh man, my professional self, it's just like I have to think too much, right? That means, and that's okay. That's a part of that means you're getting there with your brand, but you want to make sure that the best part of who you are personally, that's what we want to just accentuate essentially, as your professional self. It shouldn't be two different modes. So that either means your personal self maybe, is a little bit too far off, which I doubt it is, right? Or your professional self, you're maybe trying to be professional instead of polishing who you already are. And so for me, my professional self is just a little bit more polished version. It's just less casual. It's more formalized, right? It's more formal. That's all it is. So make sure that you do that. Now, someone else, Kenneth, wrote in here, be consistent. Now, here's the point about a brand, and then I'll come back to you, Vicki, in just a second, but I just saw this over here. Now, when you think about consistency, that's how you build a brand. So you have to think about the best characteristics of yourself and show up that way all the time. I have a saying, always on brand. You'll never catch me I don't think anyone professionally can say in 10 years that they've seen me in a bad mood. Nope. My brand is happy, excited, loving life, excited to be here. So resourceful, whatever those things are that you all started to mention, you need to show up. What are the behaviors that say you're resourceful? What are the behaviors that say you have integrity? And be consistent. You have a good brand when people start telling you what your brand is. Wow, you're so helpful. You're just so resourceful. Wow, you always take initiative. When people start giving you that feedback, that's your brand. And so think about it, because some of you have already gotten some of that feedback from others. Double down on what people are already seeing. Yep. Okay, Vicki, let's go back to the Q&A.
Yeah, they're streaming in now. I'm going to combine a couple of these. What strategies have you found helpful when advocating for others so that you are not seen as aggressive or confrontational? Somebody said something about being nervous, showing up as a Black woman, where she's been taken as cocky, and how you deal with that criticism. So kind of
Yes.
combining those
Love
together.
it. Love it. So first piece, just on advocating for others, you really don't want to overstep your boundaries and advocate for others unless they ask you to. You don't want to speak for others. You know, you don't want to take up somebody else's cross. You don't want to get in the fire on behalf of somebody else's battle unless they've asked you to do that, or you're very clear in terms of being an ally for somebody else, that you know what you're saying or your contribution is really going to help, right? Because I really stay out of other people's business. So I'm like, oh no, that's Vicki. No, that's Vicki. Vicki, I think, is more than capable to handle that, you know? So when you're advocating for others, just be mindful of that. And when you're communicating to someone on behalf of someone else, let them know that that's your role. Hey, I'm just trying to advocate for Vicki right now. And so I just thought it would be great for me to just add some additional information about perspective about what happened, or, you know, be clear on what your role is, but you never want to speak for someone else. In terms of just in general, whether it's as a Black woman or as any other background, you know, a white male, a Latino, you know, I'm just using in general. When you talk about showing up as your authentic self, you have to show up as your authentic best self. So you need to do an audit. Some of you need to do a character audit, or a perception or a brand audit, you can call it. I used to do this quarterly, but now I'm only doing this maybe once or twice a year. But what I recommend is you take 2 to 3 people that you trust and that trust you. These can't be your fan club members, because your fan club members are going to they're going to have a hard time telling you the honest truth. But someone that can hold you, and they're not your haters. You're not going to ask a hater because they're haters, right? But you're going to ask them to tell you 2 to 3, you know, words that come to mind. I call it praise and polish, right? Praise are things you do well. Polish are things, your negatives about yourself. See what they say. That gives you information on how people are perceiving you, because people's perception about you is not necessarily who you really are. It's their perception about you. And people will perceive you differently based on how much interaction they have with you and in what context. So for some of you, what I never recommend is start to change who you are and change because I'm getting feedback. Well, did you get feedback from one person, or is everybody saying that you have an anger problem? You know, are you getting, you know, and who was it? You know, who were these people in a professional setting or what? You have to really be mindful, because in your being an authentic leader, as you're building your authentic leadership brand, you need, you know, you'll never feel comfortable if you don't sort of land, you know, somewhere. But so for some of you, you may be showing up in a way that's not favorable for you, right? And so you need to show up in a way that's still authentic but polished enough to get what you want. You know, it's a fine line. I'm still me, but I don't mind making a few adjustments and using emotional competence in different situations to know that I can't be, you know, as casual as maybe I could be in another situation. Does that make sense? And I know the person who asked this, but I'm just saying, I want to just give for everyone an idea here of, you want to know how people are perceiving you. That's very important information, and adjust it and change to get what you want. Now, again, if someone is because their cultural competence and their lens is biased, you feel it sometimes. You feel it in your gut. You feel it in your spirit where you're like, you just totally misread me. No one else would have seen that as being angry or this or that. Then again, what I say, take the best, leave the rest. Get as much information as you can. But when you start reaching saturation, that's what we would say as a researcher or as a psychologist. Once you start getting the same feedback over and over again, that may actually be a sign that you need to make some adjustments so that you can be perceived in a way that can give you the best value out in the marketplace for what you want to do. We don't change for others. We change ultimately and adjust and get better and sharpen ourselves for ourselves. And if you think of it in that way, you'll be able to navigate perfecting and polishing your brand. Yep. Okay, Vicki, got some more. I'll kind of do rapid fire on a couple, and then I'll wrap up some of our points.
Okay, one more here. When applying to grad schools and leadership programs, how can you make them truly believe you're a leader and not just say that?
Love it. It's all about the receipts. That's what the millennials and the Gen Z say. Your receipts. Don't tell me about it. Show me. Let me know a specific scenario that you demonstrated leadership. Not I am a leader and I am blank. I have integrity. I have character. Those are adjectives. But let me know in this particular situation, which was challenging, I overcame this by using my leadership strengths and my leadership skills. And I see myself as a leader, and I've actually shown up as a leader in these different ways. So you have to make sure you have the receipts, you have the proof. It's not bragging if it's a fact, okay? Because some of you have a problem. You think it's bragging. You think it's tooting your own horn. You're so fake humble, that you don't sell yourself enough. But guess what? If it's a fact, then that it's a fact. Let it sit where it sits. It's not your responsibility to see how others are going to perceive your amazing facts about your amazing achievements. So some of you need to get over that as well. Another thing is when you look up the definition of nice, for example, it's a French root word and it means foolish. If you translate that into French, okay, or the original definition. If you look up the term humble, it means having a low assessment of one's self-worth. And so we really have to be careful because for some of you, it's those type of characteristics that you've been taught or that you think are very valuable, but you've framed it in a way that is actually holding you back. And so you can still be quote unquote humble. I don't even like to use that word. I like to use the word grounded, honestly. So if you guys changing your vocabulary, grounded, but as long as you're grounded, then state the facts and don't feel any type of way because you need to honor your achievements. And those things are going to get you to your next level. Now, next thing I want to do, so we talked about gaining respect, excellent communication skills, and being culturally competent. That means that you know how to move in different rooms. You know how to communicate with people of different backgrounds in an inclusive way. You're able to adjust, okay, and value that. So that cultural competency is great, and it should come out in your communication. Now, someone said, that's a lot. Now I need to rethink. I need to rethink now. I know, Emily. That's what I do. The thing is, I'm just dismantling some of how we've been thinking so you can put it back together in a stronger way that's going to have value for you in your careers. The next step is influencing others. There are two things that you need to be focused on when it comes to influencing others. Number one is problem solving. Number two is team building. Now, problem solving is going to be, that's an ultimate superpower. Can you solve problems? You may be able to do work, but when the problem happens, are you able to solve them creatively on your own? Or do you wait for other people to give you directives? Do you wait for other people to delegate to you and tell you how to solve all problems? Or can you think creatively on your own? It's a great asset professionally and academically to be able to solve problems. The next thing is team building. Now, you may say, well, if I'm the leader of the team, then I have to do team building. How can I have an opportunity to do that? It's all about your interactions. It's all about your interactions with others. You don't have to have a role designated for you to build a team. Are you building people around you all the time? I have a personal rule for myself. When I interact and engage with people, they need to leave feeling motivated or more hype. And I'm not talking about when I'm speaking from a stage or speaking. I'm talking about professionally. When I interact with people, I want them to be like, her energy. There's something about her energy. I just need them to say, they don't have to tell me that they thought that, but I want them to leave with that. I want them to be delighted and inspired by just interacting and engaging. So what are the things that you can do to build teams and build people around you? And it's not about one team. It's a multitude of individuals that engage with you. How do people feel after they engage with you? And that's building a team. Now, when you think about the last piece, which is getting results, we're talking about your conflict management. If everything was fine and the world was perfect, then you would be disposable, right? But we actually need your skills, and leaders step up when there are troubles. Imagine how many leaders this year of companies, of organizations, people like Vicki, people like Melanie, so on and so forth, your professors, how many leaders had to step up and work through conflicts this year and had to problem solve this year. Those are the people that are what I call a must-have, not a nice-to-have. You never want to be a professional and you're a nice-to-have. The must-haves, when it's time to lay people off, when it's time to give opportunities, when it's time to allocate additional resources or give people raises, if you're in that must-haves group, you are going to make it further than the ones that, it's nice to have them, but it's not a must-have. If you can handle conflict and manage that, and let me just say this, I feel it in my spirit too. There are some of you here that avoid conflict like the plague. And when you avoid conflict, not only does it not allow you to resolve issues in your life, but it doesn't allow others to actually show you that they may not be who you think they are. And this is what I mean by this. Sometimes conflict avoiders, you say it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. They're not even going to change anyway. You don't give people the benefit of it. I'm not even going to say anything. It's just trivial. And first of all, you're not honoring yourself. You don't honor yourself, which is the bigger issue. And the second thing is sometimes it can create a story in your head. It can create a narrative, a false narrative that people will not adjust for you, that people won't change for you, that you're not worth people actually, letting them know that maybe they stepped on your toes, letting them know that maybe they did something wrong and asking them not to do that again, right? But what it does is, it doesn't even allow that person to say, you know what, I'm sorry, I apologize. Let me fix it, let me make it right. And we can build up resentment just by avoiding conflict. And so conflict management and your ability to manage conflict is going to be very important as a leader. And guess what? You don't have to be in your face. You don't have to be calling people out or fighting them or anything. You just need to be able to come to the table and speak on it, whatever your issue is. You don't want to let that build up inside. True leaders do not let issues like that fester. They don't. And the last thing is your network. So we got a couple minutes left, but I got to go in on your network, because this is at that part of the show that if there's anything else that you missed, you need to make sure that you have a network that's going to help you get to your next step. Some of you, again, you have too many users, you have too many leeches, you have too many people that rely on you to be the resource all the time. The same stuff that you worked hard to do, the same stuff that you did your Googling and you did your research, they want you to give them the cheat sheet, the cliff notes on it. Do you have someone you can talk to? Do you have someone that you can call on? Someone said your network is your network. That's right, Esther. And the thing is, you need to have a couple different people in your network. Number one, people who I would say are not where you are now. I don't want to say below you, but people that, if you think about it, right, you're here, people that are here. Why? Because you always want to be service-minded and service-oriented. There's always somebody you can help. There's always someone who wants to be where you are. So those people need to be in your network. You need to have your peers, but they're not just your peers because they're your same age or they're in your similar programs than you are. Your peers are people that are on the same leadership level that you are. So some of you have friends that are peers in your network, but they're not on your level. They're not thinking like you. They didn't take time out of their day to be on tonight. They're not developing themselves in their leadership. So they're here, but in terms of mindset and where you're trying to go, they're not with you. And then you have the people above you. Some people are very intimidated. I love people that are above people that are running, CEOs that are running $100 million companies. That's people who are in my network. It doesn't intimidate me at all. I'm trying to learn. I don't care where the learning comes from. I need to be in their presence. I need to make sure that they have knowledge that can help me out. I'm not just, can you be my mentor? Can you? No. You just be, when you're around people, you should always be getting mentored. If you are in any situation in a room with someone who knows more than you, just listen. You got some mentorship. It doesn't have to be a formal relationship. Some of us are missing that. So in your network, so you may be saying, Dr. Brandy, what do I do? Do I dump them? Do I dump my family members, or do I dump some of my friends? You don't have to dump them, but you need to reprioritize them. Some of you need to unfollow some people on Instagram. Some people you need to adjust your time, spend more time watching motivational, inspiring YouTube videos than on Instagram. Okay, looking at everyone else's fake, amazing life. And so in order to get results, you need a network, because you can't get to your success on your own. So let me give you a quick recap. Gain respect, excellent communication and conflict competence skills, influencing others. Are you able to build others up around you or problem solve? And getting results. Are you resourceful? Are you able to manage conflict? Are you able to network? So let's drop the last poll as we wrap up, and I'm going to wrap up right after that. But the polling question is, what is your leadership superpower? And I love you guys are networking in the chat. I absolutely love it. What is your leadership superpower? After tonight, what is your leadership superpower? Take a moment, pick your number one, your top one that you can be ready to go right away. And I'll make sure to, as you all are doing that, let's slow the chat down, because I'm actually going to drop my LinkedIn URL in here. And I invite you all to connect with me on LinkedIn. You're in my network just off of my relationship with ASHA and what they are doing for you guys. do not hesitate to reach out on LinkedIn for, advice, to add me to your network. So make sure that you do that. Let me just get it in here. And I'm actually going to drop it. I'm going to drop my link right now. Make sure you answer the poll, and we're going to be wrapping up. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm dropping it here, all panelists and attendees. All right, here it comes. I just dropped my LinkedIn URL in the chat. So feel free to connect with me. Okay, let's wrap the poll up and let's see what our results are here on the poll. So I'm excited. Okay, a nice mix. I love it. I love this. I love this. There's no judgment on any of these. This tells me though, conflict competence for those 4%, that's your superpower. I'm telling you, you're definitely on the right track. Everyone else, look at these areas. This is your last homework. Look at these areas and see where you want to elevate. There's one that's your superpower, but what's the one that you would have rated lowest? Start with that first. Okay, start with that first. So this is what I want you all to do as we wrap up. Drop in the chat your reaction to tonight. Is there at least one thing that I said that made you guys think, that made you feel get more clarity, that made you feel like you can tackle this leadership journey? Good. It's a new day. Empowered, inspired. Just drop it in. Awesome. I'm so glad. And let me just tell you guys, it's fourth quarter. The game isn't over yet. It's not. Don't let anybody tell. I don't care how your year has been. I don't care what's happened with your family. I don't care what. Now is the time to get your mind right for 2021. And if I can just appeal to you in the last 30 seconds, turn off the news, turn off the bad reports, turn off the naysayers, stop answering the call on people who are bringing you down. Get mentally focused. Have your health and your wellness. Alyssa was talking about this. Take care of yourself. Honor yourself, especially as we go into next week. You don't have to be, keeping track of every single thing that's going on in the world. For some of you, you need to take a step back and use the rest of this year to reflect, to set yourself. Because guess what? While some of us were struggling this year, there were some people that were thriving this year, despite everything that was going on. And I was determined to make sure I'm going to thrive this year. And this is actually one of the best years I've had, all things considered, in a couple of years. And so it's all about your mindset and how you choose to show up. It's a new day. And I thank you. I'm grateful that you took time. It doesn't matter how much money I could give you. You'd never be able to buy time back. And so the fact that you guys took time to be here tonight, to invest in yourselves, I appreciate you and I thank you. I'm going to hand it back over to the ASHA team. And that's it. I'm putting myself on mute. That's it. But I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Brandy. All I can say is, wow. I was watching the comments just flying through. And I have no doubt whatsoever that you have added a level of support and empowerment to the students who are here tonight. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. Before we wrap up, I believe we had a giveaway that we were going to try to administer. I need Melanie, if you can come back on and tell us what it is we need to do there.
We are going to give away 2 books by Dr. Brandy. We're not going to be able to do the drawing tonight, but we will put everybody's name in the hat tomorrow, draw 2 names, and you will be notified that you have won Dr. Brandy's book, and we will send it to you. So thank you for being here tonight.
Perfect. And one other thing that I want to do is to just very quickly put in a plug for National NISLA. I know a number of the NISLA counselors have joined us this evening, and we are grateful for your presence and participation, and for students who are still actively engaged in their universities, if you are looking for leadership opportunities, make sure you go to NSLA.org and find out what's happening at NSLA with NSLA. It's your student organization. Yes, many of you have chapters at your universities, but the national organization is affiliated with ASHA, and we are happy to support NSLA and want to make sure that you see it as the resource that it truly is. I am going to leave you with just one thing. You hear often that people say that students are our future. There is no question, no doubt in my mind that the investment that ASHA makes in our students is going to be realized as you all take these leadership skills and move into the professional ranks. What you do, what you know, the way you make people feel is going to make a difference in this world. And we wish you all the best. And we're here for you. And let us know how we can support you. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. We will be sending you an evaluation form for tonight's session, and we will get you information on the where and how to access the recording so that you can listen to this over and over and over again whenever you need to be recharged. Thank you again, Dr. Brandy, and have a good night.